Good evening. Let me start with a short anecdote. I'll take you more than a decade back. I used to work for Hindustan Lever. I was working on a brand, just moved from sales. I was given the task to run the Lux brand. And a very onerous challenge that it had faced some decline and stagnation for the previous 3 years, and I was asked to grow it by double digits. And for those of you who are a bit uninitiated on Lux, Lux is like a toilet soap, especially for those who are probably out of this country. Lux is toilet soap from Hindustan Lever. At that point of time, the second largest brand in the stable, and sold primarily to the promise of film stars. And it sold through a pink soap, which was called Pink Rose, which used to make 500 crores of turnover in the country. Like a very good boy brand manager, I went into the market with a very interesting job of meeting ladies across the country who were my target audience, and trying to find out what is it that we can do to actually grow Lux. And I was very fascinated that when I came back, I met various consumers, and I constantly heard a feedback that everyone wanted their Lux. They wanted a different color, they wanted a different fragrance, they wanted a different lather. Somebody had a hard water, somebody had soft water, they wanted different packaging. And I was really fascinated, and then I came back and I met my technology head, and I told him, and we had a very interesting discussion, I wish I could have recorded it, that I can actually double the volume of Lux if you can give me a Lux soap for every woman in this country. And what that meant was, I said, either give me a Lux soap for every woman in this country, or give me a Lux soap which can actually change its characteristics when the person is going through the experience. It's almost like it meant only two things. It meant first, we need to have 450 million variants of Lux soap, because at that time, when there were about 950 million people in this country and about 450 million women, how do we have 450 million variants of Lux soap? Or can you give me a soap where, depending on whether the water is hard or soft, the characteristic of the lather and fragrance changes? Obviously, the tech head laughed me off as, what the hell are you talking about? And what followed was some intense negotiation. And what I got out of that negotiation was 3 more variants of Lux soap. Why I started with 450 million Lux soaps, I got 3 more. And that was good enough because at the end of the year, we were able to get about 20% growth, which was much better than where we were. What I learned from that experience, and what I think is the holy grail for all marketeers, is that what makes the brand work is about delivering customized experiences for every customer. That was then, when technology became a bottleneck for me, and today we are in a world where I think technology, in fact, is one of the key enablers. When Ram and I spoke, and I had to talk about the experiences in Citi, I had 2 choices to make what should I talk about from a presentation standpoint. I could have taken you through the whole gamut of marketing and digital marketing that we do in Citi across the whole variety of stuff that we've seen, or rather, I thought, let me choose and focus on one topic, which is fascinating me a lot these days, because I've come across some very interesting data, and what I think is what I would like to do is to give you a peek into the future and also give you some examples of what Citi is doing in India and perhaps across the world, because that was one of the objectives of this presentation, to actually deliver on this. So let's first start with some fascinating stats which I think is happening. I couldn't have asked for a better setup than Sandeep gave me in the previous presentation. I think we know that the world is getting connected. But just look at this stat. This is a very interesting digital consultancy in the US, which has predicted that by 2014, there will be 30 countries where the per capita connectivity is going to be more than 100%. Just take a moment to absorb this fact. More than 100%, so on an average, every person in that country is going to be connected back to the net. What we are headed towards is what I think is the digital divide. There are going to be 2 kinds of people in this world in the future: people who are connected and people who are not connected. And I almost imagine that if I was sitting in the government of these countries and if I had to decide what is the poverty line, I probably will say people who don't get 2 square meals a day and people who are not connected. And that's how the poverty line definition is going to change. So that's connectivity for you. Why is this happening? Because you know what? Smart is the new normal. A lot has been spoken about and is very well documented about the fact that there are smartphones, there are smart tablets, there are smart PCs, the things are getting connected back, and there is volumes of data of how we'll have 1 billion smartphones, 2 billion smartphones. But that's the documented part. Look at the right side of this chart. What really is happening is almost every device, whether it has a screen or not a screen, is getting smart. Look at this on the left side, a car. I don't know how many of you know, and if you will go back and either real time or you'll Google the net, you will find that in the US, 2 years back, the third fastest growing connected device in the world, in US, was a connected car. Does anybody want to take a guess how many connected cars got sold in the North America last year? 8 million cars. 8 million connected cars got sold in the US last year. Let's go on to the watch. I mean, we heard about that in the morning already, that 3 weeks back there was a rumor going on that Apple's going to launch what is an illustration of what could a potentially Apple Watch look like in a matter of next 3 to 6 months. And already Sony is working on that. You go to the bottom left, and I'm going to talk about this smart TV. I'm going to hold myself for this because this is, I think, really fascinating stuff now happening on smart TV. But look on the right side. You know, when I was researching, I was really fascinated to come across this example of this company called Armour, who is trying to do what Nike does on the iPod, on the T-shirt. So imagine you're an athletic person, you want to run for a race, or you're training for a marathon, and while you're running, you want to keep a track of how many calories you're burning, how much distance you've run, how much time it's taken, and everything is on the T-shirt. If you got some time, note this name, Armour, go and check out the video. I mean, I should have probably I was just hitting myself for this. I should have got to that video. It's fantastic. If that works, don't think there's too many things left to imagination of what kind of things are going to get connected back to the internet. This has been stuff which has been spoken about a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of social, and I'm going to not spend time. But you know, when I thought, let me give you a very interesting perspective on social. We try to do some math here, okay? Take Facebook, just Twitter, and just LinkedIn. Take the number of people who are using Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Add the number of average connections everybody has. And just these 3 networks put together have 123 billion social connections already. In a world of 7 billion people, that is staggering. And this is changing every day. I don't know how many of you caught, there is this new thing coming in the US called Snapchat. Have anybody heard about that? Snapchat, it's so simple. It's like you take a snap, you want to send it to, I want to send it to Manisha, I write a quick message on that, it goes to her, and I put a time saying, this photograph should vanish in 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 1 minute, or 5 hours, and it vanishes. It was launched 3-4 months back. Can anybody take a guess how many million photographs disappeared in US last month? 60 million photographs. And a social thing came 4 months back. That's the speed at which things are getting connected at a social level. This is one of my favorites. Not only they're getting connected, they're getting people, there is this huge phenomenon of multi-screen consumption which is happening. And I would argue that this is a universal phenomenon. It's happening even in our country. It's just that I don't have the stats to show you because it's not got captured really well. But look at the US stats. First thing, 81% of Americans use smartphone and television simultaneously. 66% people combine laptop and smartphones, and similarly to do with their PC and TV, right? So there's a multi-screen consumption happening at the same time. What is even more staggering is, I showed you 2 vectors of connectedness, which is about devices and it's about people, is that not only they're connected through devices, they're also connecting to their social network. They're talking to their friends about what they're seeing. So it's for the first time in the history, content is being consumed and manufactured at the same moment. And that's pretty unique about what's happening in this world today. Now, what as manufacturers we have as an opportunity, which is on the right side, is that I want to just broaden the scope of connectivity. This connectivity, to remember, is not just about connecting to internet. I work in a bank. We have an ATM. That ATM is connected back to my backend, and my backend is connected to your smartphone or your phone that you hold. It may be a normal phone or a smartphone, but we are connected in a network sense. And today, in every household, as we are increasing consumption, there is a Tata Sky, there is you go to a check-in counter at Jet Airways, you go and watch a movie, everything is connected. So you're interacting with a lot of screens at the same time, and you've got to take cognizance of this fact that connectivity is not just about connecting to internet, it's also about connecting to the various manufactured screen. Now, so why are we talking about this? Because I believe the biggest opportunity for brands, for governments, for institutions, for reformists today is to really harness this really the new age connectedness and deliver what I think I'm going to talk to you about is a connected experience. Right now, I'm actually very fascinated about the subject. So I've done a lot of research on this, and I'll tell you that there's not too much of literature on this. If you'll go and Google it, you'll find different kinds of very techy kind of literature. But from a marketing perspective, there are 3 dimensions which have been captured over here. One, which has been spoken about and written about a fair bit, which is about how you can actually leverage social connections and actually a brand can deliver on a common big promise. And this is something which has been done, has been done very well by brands. We've spoken about it today. There's some wonderful examples my peers gave today. But just look at the power. I mean, if you heard Wendy speak today in the morning, it's not just brands. It's people who are using it for themselves. The example over here. It's reformists. It's politicians. It's campaign managers. Even in India, in the Gujarat elections, a lot of social was used, and not to say I like one politician versus the other, but to really influence views. So this is really big area, but that has been spoken about, and I want to spend time on this. So let's go to the next one. I think this is the stuff where there is slightly, or I think much lesser literature on, which is that today there is an opportunity to deliver a connected device experience. So I may be sitting over here making a presentation to you, and or maybe not making a presentation, but sitting and listening to you, but I can today with my phone pretty much do a lot of stuff. The surveillance camera can be connected back to the manufacturer. I can see how my kids are being managed by the nanny on my smartphone. I can actually print a device which would be my printer, which is connected to Wi-Fi, which is sitting in the office. I can actually use a smartphone to play music in my car. I can use Spotify just on a per-use basis, get the music, wire it to my connected car, and play the music, and bam, it's done. You know how many people in the US do that? 17%. 17% of the people play music in their cars using smartphones. Or I can actually, sitting in the office, record an IPL match with my smartphone. So look at the power that connected devices can give you from a pure brand experience point of view. If we marketers can understand that these things are sitting right in the office, right in the home, right in your pockets. Now, there are 2 things that I told you: connected experience through social connections and connected experience through connected devices. But there is actually no literature written about for what I believe is the real connected experience. The real connected experience is, to go back to my Lux example, is that, and I will take a moment here because this to me is the heart of my presentation. I told you that the Holy Grail is about delivering unique experiences for customers. A brand today is not about what the brand says, but what the brand does. You can call it an ad versus an act, or you can call it about a product versus a brand experience. It's about what you actually deliver as an experience to a customer, with what makes the impression about the brand, right? So therefore, today we're in a world where technology has actually created a unique opportunity, at least in some categories more than the others, to deliver a very, very unique, customized, individual experience to you. And there's some examples. Let's talk about it in the next 1 minute quickly. It's like the Nike, it's about the Nike experience. For those of you who are into sports and athletics, if you use the Nike app, you can actually have a customized workout, and you can compare it with your friends. And this is written about stuff. I won't talk much about it. There's a lot about iCloud. No, I don't have a phone. There's some static coming from somewhere. Maybe just turn the volume down a bit of that particular speaker. Okay, we good? I think this is much better. I think iCloud, people know about it. You have a smartphone or Apple, you buy a tab. The day you switch it on, it syncs up your data. From that next minute, that's an iPad which is uniquely yours. Anybody else picks it up, you'll say there's something not right because the apps are different, the contacts are different, the emails are different. Flipboard. How many of you have used Flipboard over here? Plenty. Fantastic. I always used to worry, there's so much content, there's so much to read, how do I customize? Until Flipboard came and My Magazine came. I am the editor of My Magazine. I decide what I want to read. I customize it, pull it together, and I read it every day. Let's talk about, can we close this door, please? Let's talk about the television experience. Okay, I don't know how many of you saw, and this is not an advertising for Samsung, but I thought that, the world is not getting it. A television connected to internet is not a connected TV. It's not a connected experience, right? So there was a recent CES Samsung keynote which talked about the new TV which is coming out. Imagine this television. It's a television where when you switch it on, it will first show you in a smart hub, what is the normal channels or programs playing. It's pretty much like the, Tata Sky, the hub which comes saying, okay, these are the movies, these are the games. And then what is really different is that then it'll say, these are the recommended programs. I've been watching you, we've been watching you what programs you watch. This is the recommended programs for you. In the evening, there's a certain kind of programs you watch, maybe news. So the recommendation in the evening will change. When you go to Sunday, there'll be a different recommendation because you watch games on Sunday. When your kids log on, or the kids go into that same television, the cartoons will come on. This is not it. You're watching a program, and this is the example that was given. You like a dress that Jennifer Aniston is wearing in a soap. You can actually pick up your remote, and you say, I like that dress. That remote will sync it up with an e-commerce site, and you can do what is called a T-commerce. You can buy that dress, and it will be delivered to your home in India with cash on delivery. Now imagine this is a television, for God's sake. 20 years back, you know how it used to work. You had to hit it on the side to get it going. And here you have a real customized experience. It's my TV. I am the editor of what I'm going to see. When I was designing this presentation for some of you, I thought, what can I do to give you a connected experience? What's your name, sir? Altaf. Altaf is sitting over here. It would have been a fantastic thing from him if 6 of us speakers actually spoke to him instead of Ram and said, what can the presentation can I make for you so that you think that this is a real connected experience, right? And you would have said, I don't want all these guys here. All of you go out. I have 5 questions. Sanjeev is only allowed 2 questions, but by the time I'll finish, it will be 1 because time is running out. So how will I ask my questions? So I thought, what can I do? So obviously, we can't change the format. So I created this small thing on the side. I don't know how many of you noticed there is this hashtag on the bottom left called #ConnectedExperience. And the purpose was that while you're listening to the content, and I'm going to talk about some Citi examples now, and you come across some interesting examples, some interesting observations, some interesting questions, you can actually tweet on your Twitter handle with this hashtag, and I promise you that I'm going to get back to you with a customized individual answer. So this is where the world is headed, right? So let's go on. Now I'm going to take the next 5 minutes and 6 minutes and talk about some examples of what are we doing about this in Citi. And they have been deliberately chosen from India, from Singapore, some from the US, and I'm going to rush through them. And then maybe you can touch base with me after we finish, because the idea is not to really spend time on every example. So I'm going to talk about, when I talk about the examples, I'll be honest, brutally honest. I know it's not like we are there and we're sitting up there and we understand the whole thing. But what we'll try and do is show you some examples where either you're using a social connectivity or you're using device-to-device connectivity, but you're trying to create a customized experience for you as a person, right? So I'm starting with the example in US, which started last year, where there was an intention of focusing professional women. And this was what we believed was a bit of a neglected segment in US and perhaps large parts of the world. The banking industry focuses on the men a little too much, I think. And this network was created on LinkedIn by a group called Women & Co., which is called a Professional Women Network, a fantastic initiative. Jeff Weiner, who was the CEO of LinkedIn, was personally involved in this. It's considered to be one of the fastest growing community in the US. And it talks a lot about things that that they talk to each other, or we get experts on the line, including Citi, to talk about how women can actually become entrepreneurs, how we can help fund them, how women should manage their careers, and so on and so forth, and also a little bit of financial advice once in a while. And this has become such a powerful force in the US that is one of the unique examples where an online network has started finding its life offline, where these people themselves get together and hold sessions and get-togethers and discussions on group discussions on career and stuff outside. Back home in India, another example. So we have on Citibank credit cards, for those of you who are the initiated and who get it, who are the Citibank credit cards, this was a commercial break. There are 4,000 offers that we have on our credit and debit cards. These offers across dining, shopping, and movies and other stuff. Now, we always wondered that how is it that we will make a specific recommendation for Altaf? I've got 4,000 offers. Can I make his life simple? And then we spoke around to people like him, and we figured that when Altaf decides to go for having a food at a restaurant, he likes to talk to his friend. Which was the good Chinese restaurant you went to last week? Oh, I went to mainland China. Great. Now, we said, let's take this insight, put it on social, and take it on Facebook. So we created an app where we have a recommendation engine which leverages the social graph of Altaf. So if Altaf's friends have come on Facebook and they've liked mainland China, when I'm making a recommendation to you on my Facebook, you should go and try this app out. I will tell you that your friends like mainland China. So among the other things that you may have and on your transaction data, I think this is the right restaurant for you. So it's a customized experience which leverages your social connectivity and delivers to you. So this is one of the examples from Citi India. Back examples from US, another example of social connections. I want an iPhone 5. I don't have enough points, but I have a lot of friends. Can these friends come together, pool their points, and help me take an iPhone 5? Yes, you can. You can do that in the US. Back home in India, I am in C block of east of Kailash in Delhi. C block east of Kailash, Delhi doesn't have an ATM. Can Citi help me get an ATM there? So we put up this poll. We said, we went to our fans on Facebook, tell us where you want an ATM. And if you want an ATM in C block east of Kailash, make sure you tell your friends to vote on our Facebook page so that we can, if you get a vote on C block east of Kailash, it'll be C block and not B block. And we ran it across Bangalore, across Delhi, across Chennai, across Bombay, and we started putting up ATMs basis what people told us on Facebook that this is where we would like you to have an ATM. It's like a store. If a cafe coffee day was to go and do this poll, where would you like your next coffee shop? So you're trying to leverage social networks again to give a service experience which is kind of customized, if not completely, to that person's recommendation or what his friends want. This is something which is dated, but I thought it's a very important, and I know it's kind of hygiene now, but many years back, Citi actually innovated this thing, and we realized the power of connectivity between a device like an ATM and something like a phone. So here, you actually, what are you doing? It's very simple. I think all of you know that, so I'm not going to really explain this. It's like you do transaction of any of my channels, whether it's an ATM or it's a merchant transaction or it's my mobile, etc., and instantly a customized alert will come to you. Sanjeev, 4,000 rupees just got sold on your Premier Miles credit card. Now, that's a customized experience. It's using device-to-device connectivity. It was started more than 10 years back. Now, every bank uses it, and not only every bank, it's become an industry standard. It's taken as a hygiene thing. Even things like everybody in the service industry now uses it, right? It's a very good example of connected experience. You can do some really good campaigns. We saw some very good examples. And this is a campaign that we did a couple of months back during the festive season. I'll take a moment on this. I didn't think we had a time to put a video or stuff on this, but I'm going to tell you how we use device-to-device connectivity for a really immersive campaign. So around Diwali, for most of you or some of you who are from this part of the world, people buy high-value items. They especially choose the day of Dhanteras, many of you may know, to buy high-value items. Now, we have a facility on credit cards. All banks have a facility on credit cards called EMI, where you can take a high-value item and convert that into small ticket size. So we said, is there a way in which we can get part of the conversation when people are discussing high-value items? Citibank credit cards is part of that conversation. And we said Twitter is the best way to get there because Twitter is real-time, it's short-term, That's the best way to do it. So how do we do that? So we did something interesting. We tied up with various radio stations. We took radio jockeys, and we started telling them to tweet on a campaign which was named Dil versus Bill. Why was it named Dil versus Bill? Everybody wants to buy the next bigger Bravia TV or for their friends and family, but they don't have the budget. So it's really the insight is the tension between heart and price. So Dil versus Bill, we said, we created a Twitter handle called hashtag, not handle, but it's a hashtag Dil versus Bill. Now, that was a bold decision. Typically, you'll find marketers don't want to let go of their brand. It'll be hashtag Citi Dil versus Bill. We said we don't want to actually sort of, in a way, sort of, bastardize this and actually make it simple in the way that consumers talk about it, and we'll keep it simple, hashtag Dil versus Bill. So the radio jockeys went, and on air, they said, they urged people, tell us what are you thinking? Are you thinking to buy stuff with your heart or with your wallet in mind? And if you tweet with this hashtag, what will happen? There were 2 malls we had chosen in the country where we had this very unique sort of device which will release clouds shaped with heart or rupees out in the air. Now, you've heard about a lot of examples of cloud marketing. This is not that cloud marketing. This is a different cloud marketing. This is skyvertising. It's called skyvertising, or actually we've named it skyvertising. And people got excited. They said, if you will tweet, and there are friends of you who tweet with Dil, we'll release Dils. And then there will be in the city lots of Dils going up, and it's going to spread the festive cheer. And people got excited. And what we did was, again, for the first time, we took this thing live, and we broadcasted this live for 6 hours on our Facebook. So it's almost like everybody's very happy as a person to consume IPL live, but we thought, why can't we put our brand experience live? We'll take it for 6 hours. So we were the first brand to actually take our brand experience and put it live on Facebook, because this was only happening in real time in 2 malls, which is a very important destination for a brand like Citi. Again, so look at the experience. We broadcast this to millions of people. What are the devices? There's a radio guy talking about urging people to tweet on their smartphone on the go to release clouds from the malls to be seen on Facebook. This is an offline, online, do the math, connected experience. What had happened? For the first time, we had a hashtag Dil versus Bill, which trended on Twitter for 52 hours. Rarely you will come across a hashtag or a brand-led activation which will trend for 48 hours. And what did we want? All we wanted is, on the day of Dhanteras and Diwali, Citi should be discussed on Twitter. Results were staggering. On the Dhanteras day, on a like-to-like basis, we have 8 times the sale, and we doubled our volumes versus the previous year. So fantastic results. I could have put together a bigger case study, but I think that was not the idea. I want to show you how the device connectivity can also give you a great immersive experience from a campaign. It's not just about the product and service. It's also about how you can run the campaigns. You can use device connectivity to do a shopping reward. This is a company that we have invested in, so I'm just using an example. Again, one of the things that you got to, I don't know why people didn't really talk about. I'm actually another thing which I'm really excited about or fascinated by is this entire offline-online integration. You and I don't think, now I'm online, now I'm offline. Now I'm in the office, I'm offline, but when I look at the screen on the computer, I'm looking at internet, I'm online. But now I'm signing the paper, I'm offline. Now I'm looking at the computer, I'm online. We're not like that. We are the same guys. Online is just an extension of the real world. There's no difference. The world is seamless today. It's only in our description. At least I don't see it like that. And this is another example where here's a device which sits in the store. Imagine you're in a Chroma store, and there's a device which is on the gate of the Chroma store. You walk into the Chroma store, suddenly your smartphone will have blip. You got 25, what they call as shop kicks. 25 Citibank reward points. So I'm rewarding not online behavior, I'm rewarding offline behavior of walking into a merchant where I want you to walk and give you a reward which you can go and redeem as gifts either online or offline on Citibank cards. Fascinating. Next example. A lot of people have spoke about it. I think I'm not going to talk about this customized experience using social local, but here we took a little ahead of what you said. You get a fantastic example of telling directions. We said, why do we have to give directions? The world has Google Maps. Just integrate the damn thing. You can actually show all the directions there. You can enlarge it. So we did that, and on our mobile website, on our internet, we have it all integrated. All our ATMs or offers are integrated with Google Maps. You can find out nearest offer. And very soon in the app, in 2 months, we're going to launch it on our app. It's already going to be in the making. So this is a great example of, again, customizing recommendation-based location. We spoke about that. Last, but not the least, I think another example of great customization, very recently, and I thought I will talk about it, not in India, and it's going to come soon, but we launched, starting from Singapore, something called Citibank Express. We were the ones who started ATM in the world in 1977. We reinvented it a couple of times, and this is the third avatar. So here is an ATM. You walk to it. Pretty much anything and everything that you can do in a branch, you can do then and there. Look at this ATM. Look at the brand experience that we're going to talk about. I may lose a card. I may lose my password, but I'm not going to lose my thumb. So when I go to the ATM and I give a biometric authentication, that's the only way how transactions start. I can customize my screen experience. I can design how I want my screen to look like. You want a few tabs, you don't want a few tabs, no problem. You can change all of that around. You can connect to your Citibank online page right there. Don't have to go home, don't go anywhere else, just press a button, and you can see what's happening on your Citibank online page. You can start the transaction, you have 5 minutes. You want to do a transaction, you want to do a transfer. You're getting late. You're in the elevator, you start the transaction on Citi Mobile in the elevator, you reach downstairs, you can come and complete the transaction online on the screen over there. You want to talk to somebody, let's do a video chat, right there. You've lost your card, or you love my offer in the mall, you want to print a card, put in your specifications, put in your data, we'll do a real-time authentication, and we'll print the card and we'll give it to you then and there. And if you have some documents that you want to send to us, don't have to send it to us, just scan it there, press the button, it'll come to me. So imagine the brand experience. You can do all the advertising in the world, all the advertising. I'm a marketing guy, I love advertising, that's what I do for a living. I'm not trying to belittle the work, but products, today the brand is about experience. It's not about the product, it's not just about the ad, it's not about that, it's the whole thing coming together, and the holy grail, as I said, is about customized experience. Thank you very much.